Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we're going to cover the 14 things that are critical for every job search. These are especially important if you're new on the job market, so use these as a checklist. Let's just get right to it. The first, define your goals and objectives.
If you don't have your goals and your objectives clearly laid out, it's going to make it really hard to know what you're working toward. So, first step in any job search is to lay out exactly what you are hoping to accomplish.
Pick jobs that are going to be fulfilling, interesting to you, that are good for your long term future. So, take the time, figure out what those are, and you'll be a lot more successful as you go forward.
Number two, write down your professional accomplishment.
When you're new in the job market, especially if you're a recent grad, this is sometimes a stumbling block. But remember, you can use things that you did in school, projects, internships, anything that's relevant to the role you're looking for that qualifies.
I think this is one where a lot of people don't like to brag about themselves too much, but this is an area where, feel good about yourself, pat yourself on the back a little bit because you'd be surprised the kinds of accomplishments that you can find when you actually try.
So the next thing that goes along with that is outline your work history and your dates of employment.
This one might seem straightforward, but you want to have your specific work history and the exact dates of employment laid out very clearly. And
Don't be too broad or don't be too specific either. Typically, you want to use the month and the year. That's enough. Or if it's been a summer internship, go ahead and write summer.
next, choose an appropriate resume format.
If you're new on the job market, use a standard chronological format. So don't ever think that too much and don't get too cute with it either. No one wants to see your picture. No one wants to see your resume on pink paper or scented paper if you're hand delivering it. Pretty much you want to stick down the middle on this one.
There's a lot of resume formats out there, so just make sure you get the right one for the type of job that you're working toward. You've laid out your goals appropriately, then you should know exactly what you want.
And a complement to that is start with a generic, all encompassing resume. I like to think of this as a master resume.
You're going to be customizing your resume to the specific jobs that you're applying to, but you should start with the blank slate, but you need something to start off with.
We use the word generic. I think that's the right way to think of it. And it should also be consistent with what's on your LinkedIn profile.
So next, have two or more trusted friends proofread your resume.
Always, always, always do that. Don't trust your own eyes. Trusted is the key word in that. Don't just pick someone randomly who may not be interested in your success. Come up with someone who is really invested in who you are as a person and going to be interested in what you do professionally. Pick them for your proofreader.
Yeah, it's always good to have other people proofread because when you're really close to it, it's hard to see things. Take a step away, have multiple people look at it, people that you trust, people that are good writers themselves, because they're going to be able to see things in a different light.
Next up, create a list of your ideal employers. Make a list of targets you want to go after.
This kind of goes along with making goals. You're going to want to know the exact industry or employer that you're working towards. That's going to help you take your resume and tailor it to those specific industries, whether it's healthcare, engineering, IT, what have you. Knowing the specific target of your resume is going to go a long way when you actually are looking at content.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it manageable. It doesn't have to be a list of 1,000, and you don't want it to be too narrow either, because you never know if that particular company may be on a hiring freeze for the moment or may just not be in the mode of expanding. So come up with a comfortable list. It could be 10, it could be 20, but definitely write down the targets of the companies that you want to go after.
Another really important tip is to update your LinkedIn profile.
You have to have a current LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is where recruiters live today. That's where they find candidates. And you want any recruiter who looks at your resume to know exactly what you're looking for and who you are professionally.
This is a really overlooked one, I feel like, with as particularly with people new on the job market. They don't realize that, the importance of LinkedIn. So yeah, making sure that your LinkedIn is up to date, easy to find you and then see what you're all about. That's a really, really important.
Absolutely. Next one, connect with recruiters.
Connecting with recruiters, that's kind of a little secret tip for a lot of people on the job market, particularly new people. They don't realize that recruiters kind of have the inside track with a lot of hiring managers. Third party recruiters work with companies, with clients to find people for their positions that the internal team might not be able to find. So connecting with them and making those relationships is going to give you an inside track.
You mentioned third party recruiters. So that's an important distinction. We're not talking about corporate recruiters here, recruiters who work for the specific employer. These are companies who exist to find jobs for other companies, third party recruiters. There are thousands of them. If you need help locating them, there's the American Staffing Association website is a great place to go. You can find those lists of recruiters local to your industry or your market that you're in. Reach out to them, introduce yourself, and then they'll work on your behalf. It's a great resource.
And so another tip is to make sure you're casting a wide net and not being too narrow.
I love this phrase. I think it's so appropriate for a job search. You want to cover all of the bases. So that's why we say cast a wide net to be exposed to as many opportunities as you possibly can. That's what will give you the greatest number of options.
Talk to anybody who's been in the job industry for a while, and they're going to tell you that a lot of positions come out of nowhere. You didn't see where you would end up. So keeping your options open and keeping in contact and keeping a lot of different things in mind is going to be really good because you never know where your next job.
Nope, you don't. So cast a wide net always. Next up, want to post your resume on job boards.
Job boards are going to be an easy place to put yourself out there to make sure that your resume is quickly found by anybody who is hiring for the type of role you're looking.
We mentioned LinkedIn. That's one that almost everyone is on coming out of college and starting in their career. But that's not the only one. Indeed.com, Career Builder, Monster. Those are the big ones, even ZipRecruiter. If you have your resume on all those, it'll really help you cover the bases. And again, it's all part of casting a wide net.
And so that goes in hand with that is to make sure you're searching those job boards and company websites daily.
In addition to being found, you have to be proactive in your search and you want to go where the jobs are posted. The company websites, you should always check their career pages for their latest openings. Recruiters post jobs on the job boards we just mentioned.
I think you kind of nailed it there saying being proactive. Don't just sit back and hope that people are going to find you. You need to be proactive, particularly in today's market. There's a lot of competition. So make sure you're checking those job boards regularly because you want to be making sure that you find things first.
Yeah, things change daily. So don't check once and call it good. A job search is a full-time effort. So when you're not employed, you should spend probably 40 hours a week searching.
So make sure you're also setting up job alert.
Yeah, this one is also a kind of a hidden gem, as Peter mentioned earlier. It's not available everywhere, but on certain websites and certain company pages, they'll give you the ability to be alerted when they have their next opening. So wherever possible, enter your email address if you have the option, and you'll be notified as soon as they have the next opening.
They say work smarter, not harder. So put all the technology you can to use for you. If you do it right on a lot of these job boards, you're going to be getting emails daily with updates of things that match your resume. It might even get you thinking of industries that you hadn't previously considered. So it's a really good idea.
Let things come your way. So the last one on our list, and I kind of gave this away earlier, but treat your job search like it's your job.
You can't just sit back and hope things are going to work out for you. You should be spending several hours a day. I mean, I would say 8 hours a day searching for these jobs, applying to these jobs. It's a numbers game in a lot of areas. So just make sure you are treating it seriously and you are putting in the effort.
It's super competitive out there right now. So give yourself an advantage by putting forth a lot of effort. You'll be glad you did in the end. So Peter, I think that's 14. Did we cover them all?
I think we got it.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.